Good evening, everybody, and welcome to MRC on a Wednesday evening. This is the Tier 4 race, final race of the evening, and we have a wet qualifying session here at Silverstone. So, at the moment, looks like intermediate conditions. We have a McLaren coming out of the garage to start this qualifying session. I am your lead commentator, BitW365. I am not commentating alone. My co-com will be here eventually when he turns up. So, it is Shift God who will get this session underway. Intermediate tyres on the McLaren. As he's out on his installation lap. Silverstone, plenty of history. Very first Grand Prix held back in 1950. On the 13th of May, 75 years old. Most wins at this circuit, Sir Lewis Hamilton with 9. Moments of history here. 2021, we had the collision with Verstappen and Hamilton at Copse Corner. We also had the moment where Michael Schumacher went off after the race was aborted and went off at Stowe Corner and broke his leg, where Shift God is now. So we're going to hop on board with the McLaren as he comes round club onto the Lewis Hamilton straight to start the first lap of this qualifying session. No DRS with the wet conditions as he enters Abbey. Careful on throttle with the wet conditions through farm. And then we enter Village. And then as soon as you come through Village, the loop is right in your face. And then we head on to Aintree, which then enters onto the Wellington Straight. We have no DRS with the wet session here in qualifying. Shift God braking nice and early in the conditions as he enters Brooklands. Nice and steady around Luffield. Back end wants to come out in these slippery conditions, but nice and tidy by Shift God. Through Woodcote, over the old start-finish straight as we head to the very well-famous Copse Corner. Flat in the dry, but not in the wet. And now we head down towards the infamous Maggots and Beckett's combination. Steady, easy as you go in the wet conditions because it is slippery. Then we head through Chapel, which then heads to the Hangers Straight. Again, no DRS with the wet conditions. Drag King has retired from the qualifying session as Shift God enters Stowe Corner. Then we're on to Vale. And then into the club section for the end of the lap. Fighting the car in these slippery conditions. Nice and tidy, a 43.9 to get this session underway from Shift God. Nice tidy lap. Fighting the car in the slippery conditions, but very well held. We have a Mercedes just about to cross the line. As Connor goes to the top with a 140. We are following his teammate, Mercedes, Owen, as he's following a Red Bull as they both come down Chapel. Due to the wet qualifying, don't expect drivers to be diving in and out of the pits. They will put plenty of fuel in their cars and just drop the laps out left, right and centre, because the more laps they do, the better the conditions will get and the better the tyres will work. As we're following Owen as he comes to finish the lap in the Mercedes, and he goes P6. So at the moment we have a Mercedes, Kick Sauber, Williams, as Blurt goes P4 in the Alpine. Then it's the two Red Bulls of Sully and Blurred Magic. Gunther in the Ferrari has just gone P7. So plenty of times coming quick and apologies, quick and fast. Quick shout out to Lego Lancer, who was commentating on Monday for Tier 2. Stellar job alongside our resident Banshee in Night Shadow, also known as Gabs. So props to you, Lego Lancer. Now doing his first official league race here in MRC as well. The Lego Man finally out on track for the first time this season, as we'll check up on how his teammates getting on. Josh Boy also making an MRC debut tonight. So both Sauber drivers making their debuts. I wonder if one of them can pull off a Nico Hulkenberg. As we all know, last weekend, Hulkenberg finally getting the podium that he's been so deserved for so many years. So we'll follow Josh as he heads towards Copse Corner. Usually flat out in the dry, but in these wet conditions, I don't think so. And now the Sauber heads towards Maggots and Beckett's, and then followed by Chapel. He's not too far, not too close to the McLaren up the road, so he's not going to be affected by dirty air, luckily. Down the hangar straight comes Josh in the Sauber as he heads towards Stowe. Nice and tidy. As he bails out on the lap, so he must have made a mistake somewhere. So Josh bails. We join Nicola Lima as he goes very wide. Well, not very wide, but relatively wide at Copse Corner. Doesn't invalidate, so he can finish this lap off as he's heading through Beckett's. Nice tidy line, then through Chapel onto the hangar straight. Let's see, as Smoggy goes with a 1:39.682, puts the Ferrari on provisional pole. But we're carrying on with the American outfit of the Haas with Nicolai Lima as he's about to come through Club to end his lap. Let's see where he puts the Haas on his first timed run. And it'll be a 1:43.686 to put him in the top 10 at this moment in time. As we have on an out lap coming towards the end of the lap, his teammate in the other Haas, Brindle, MRC's resident nicknamed Martin Brundle, as he comes through Club to start. Oh, gets a bit wide, but well held as the rain looks to have stopped now. So the question is, when do you want to risk to go on the dry tyres? Because the track may be relatively dry, but it may be quite greasy still. So who's going to be brave enough to venture out on a set of dry tyres? But we're going to follow Brindle down the Wellington Straight. Car rear end wants to slide about as Blurred Magic goes second, or 1:39.969. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, your top three, with the Sauber in P4. The top six all different teams, and the top three, all different engines. You got the Ferrari-powered Ferrari, the Red Bull power-trained Red Bull, and obviously the Mercedes-powered Mercedes in that top three. As Brindle comes through Chapel, down Hanger Straight towards Stowe. 7 minutes 10 seconds left here in qualifying. As Brindle comes towards Club after going through Vale. Takes the final section of Club and comes to the line and goes P5 on a 140.7. So we've got the Hasses in 5th and 9th at the moment. As we jump to the Racing Bull of Geke, who is on a set of soft tyres, so this will be interesting. As TGO in the Williams does a 138.6 on intermediates. Geke heads down towards Stowe. Soft tyres. As Connor retakes provisional pole with a 38.0. But here we go. Geke coming to the end of the lap. Nice and tidy on those soft tyres. But he mucks up the final corner and it's a 42.8 as Blurt does a 138.0, so the times are coming down. Some people willing to stay with the intermediates as we pop to Poplito through Brooklands in the Aston Martin, also on a set of dry soft tyres. So I expect a lot of cars out now on dry tyres towards the end of the session. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock here in qualifying for the MRC Tier 4 British Grand Prix. As Popito heads towards Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. That Aston Martin looking very planted through those high-speed, fast right-left corners. And it's flat out down the Hanger Straight towards Stowe. And then it's the Vale Club combination to finish the lap off. Where's he going to put his Aston Martin after this first timed lap for Popito? And Popito goes on a 136.4, so it is dry tyres at this stage. And welcome into this warm and sticky box is my co-commentator Mark Hodgson. Good evening, Mark. You ready to do another one as you've just finished one?
I have, yeah. I've literally finished, had a 30-second breather and back into this one. So, yeah, apologies for joining late. But, well, this looks an interesting qualifying session, does it not? It's intermediate to soft tyres. This looks good fun.
Yeah, we had wet rain at the start of the session, but it soon dried out and it looks like it is dry conditions now because Popito currently on provisional pole on a 36.4. So it is round about the cut-off point between the inters and the dries.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting end to this session, but to say the least. I think if we're going to see the soft tyre running now, it's we're going to see quite a few. I think the lap times are just going to start tumbling down.
Yeah, as we've got Gunth in the Ferrari going down the Wellington Straight to Brooklands. Nice and tidy. Then it's Luffield. Nice and smooth for the Ferrari, but gets out the way of another car. So decides to let the other car through on his lap. So we'll find somebody else. As we have, Sully going side by side with Aston Martin that was coming out of the pits. As he heads through towards the loop, which then onto Aintree. Wellington Street. I haven't seen a message to say that DRS is activated yet, so they're still running laps with no DRS at the moment, Mark. So
Yeah, I'm just
quite interesting.
It is, isn't it? I'm going to look for who's on a fast lap. Legolas is down on his time, so I'm just going to keep my eye on him because I just want to see if he does up the DRS. It is actually open, so it is actually activated. Well, Legolas is on. He's actually, I think, going to be pitting because he is down on his time. Here's Morgan. But yeah,
ooh, Sully invalidating through Maggots and Beckett's. Gets out the way of an Aston Martin. Yeah, the DRS is now activated. You can see the wing open on the Aston Martin as it heads down towards Stowe.
Yeah, this is it now because we've only got just over a minute and a half left. Everybody's who's leaving the pit is gonna have a bit of gotta get a wiggle on a little bit really to get their outlaps in time in order to set a lap on the soft tyres. So this is going to be very much fast and furious towards the end, I think, of this race. And what's interesting is GTS is retired from the session. He's won all 3 races this season, so he's at a big disadvantage. Smoggy goes there in 8th, who's he's going to have to push a little bit on his outlap, but he's second. He's finished second in the 2 races he's in, Mr. Brazil, of course, but that's going to be a 35-point gap, but definitely a chance for him to really push on and get a bit of a leap, I think, on that. And then we've got Geke as well down in 14th. There's a lot of people and places so far that's going to. This is crucial for them to get a really strong qualifying under their belts, and especially with GTS so far back as it stands, that this is going to be difficult.
Oh, Brindle with a 33.0 as we're currently watching Josh coming down Hanger Straight with a Ferrari just ahead of him. The Ferrari is on an outlap, whereas Josh is on a flying lap, so I'm hoping the Ferrari doesn't impede towards the end of this lap. It's not getting out of the way, so Josh Boy is going to have to finish the lap behind the Ferrari. Let's see where he puts the Sauber in reminiscence to the Lego man. And he jumps ahead, he jumps his teammate right at the end of qualifying. So Josh Boy in the Sauber is P3, whereas his teammate Lego Lancer is currently P5. As Connor in the Mercedes does a 32.7 to set the provisional pole time. Still drivers to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, so they just didn't quite, as I mentioned, didn't quite get their lap times, get their outlaps done quick enough, but I think Smoggy Ghost has. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the Ferrari, currently in 10th, and see how he gets on, because of course a lot of battery left as well so far as he's coming into Cops. It's a little bit wide, but okay for him. And watch through this middle sector, clean air in front of him as well. So
oh, Blurt goes second with a 32.8, putting the Alpine on the front row.
Yeah, good lap times these. Very good laps indeed. Smoggy Ghost is currently on for, what's that on that side? I think he's 4 seconds up, so it's currently going to be top 8, unless he has a monster final sector as well. I'm sure there's still more time to gain.
Sorry to jump in, Mark. Bit of a kick of the rear for TGO as he went to finish his lap, as Blurred Magic goes pole with a 32.741. And now Smoggy goes
final sector.
32.488.
Wow. He found over 2 seconds in that final sector. Wow. What a gain that was.
So we have a Ferrari on pole at Silverstone. I can tell you there are many Lewis Hamilton fans thinking that the weekend just gone, we could have possibly seen that in real life, but as we all know, Papaya is superior. So wait for the running order. Once we get the grid rundown to come up, we have 3 high tier drivers that have not set lap times. We have Armour Red is only KG and Harry, who has recently just done tier 3. So we'll have a rundown.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just I know GTS is by his request actually as well. Actually, I'll let you run through the grid. I'll come back to that in a second.
So we have, as we noticed, Samagi goes taking pole right at the depth of the qualifying. Then it's Blurred Magic, Connor, Blurt, Brindle, TGO, Geke, Owen, Josh, and Nicola Lima rounds out the top 10. And it's Popito, Lego Lancer, Gunth, Sully, Shift God, then Armour Red, Only KG, Harry, and Drag King rounds off the 19 that are starting.
Yeah, sorry, sorry, apologies for interrupting. We've got GTS. Like I say, he has won all 3 races this season, and it was by his request. He's actually requested to move up to tier 3 and reserve still in tier 4. So that could be a reason why he hasn't set a lap time. So already is the 200 championship.
It looks
leader.
dry at the moment for the start of this one.
Yeah, a bit cloudy though, isn't it?
We did have a drizzle of rain for tier 2 at the start of the week. It started dry, then went to intermediate conditions, which is how it finished. So it was a lot of split strategies at the start of tier 2. Some of them going hard and then going to the mediums for when the rain hit. Some of them started on the mediums for the better start.
Yeah, GTS has said he is actually no longer in tier 4. That's why he is just reserving for this one. That'll be why. Yeah, that'll be why. Sorry, GTS. But also, congratulations already, on the 4th race of the season, moving up to the tier 3, boys. It shows how far so quickly that you've come so far. So, yeah, look forward to seeing you in tier 3, and I'm sure, to be fair, fighting at the top end straight off the bat.
Yeah, so best of luck for him for the rest of the season in tier 3, but it's still nice of him to reserve and fill places in for tier 4 when we need drivers. So we're currently on a 5-minute interval between qualifying and race to allow drivers to go for toilet breaks or grab a drink, and also ponder what strategy, and also check the weather forecast as well to see what they have to do for strategy. But it's dry, but as you say, Mark, it is rather overcast for the start of this one, so possible rain probably, or it could be just very cloudy for this 26 lap race round the home of British motorsport.
Well, exactly, and with this cloud, it's going to be interesting to see the tyres that the drivers start the race on, because as we all know, in these cloudy conditions, it takes a lot longer for example, the hard compound tyres to warm up, and it doesn't quite give the same levels of grip that it would in sunny and warmer conditions. So I think that's going to influence a lot of the drivers' decisions when it comes to setting their strategy as well. It's also, I think, because of the intermediates that we use at the start and majority of the time through qualifying, that of course I know I missed, but the drivers are going to have a few more soft compound tyres. They may have the extra set of mediums there available as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see a few two-stop strategies come into play throughout this race, and of course that risk of the dreaded safety car, if that's going to play a big pivotal role in the outcome of this race for the tier 4 boys.
Yeah, I didn't see tier 3 earlier, but I can definitely categorically say we did have at least 1 or 2 safety cars in tier 2. I was the only one who decided to gamble on a set of soft tyres after one of the safety car periods, because I knew the rain was going to come, but luckily those softs hung on until the rain came. Okay. I think about 10 or 11 laps those soft tyres had to take them before the rain came out.
I mean, you're pretty good on tyres, in fairness. So
To be fair, Mark, I'm not. I'm probably.
you're all right with them. You've always been decent.
As we get ready for the formation lap, Smoggy Ghost will lead off the 19-car grid for this one. So we'll have a quick look to see what tyres everyone's decided to start on. We have quite a mixture here for the start of this one. We have Smoggy Ghost, Popito, Gunth, Sully and Drag King on the hard tyres, most of them on the mediums. Blurred Magic, Connor, Blurt, Brindle, TGO, Geke, Owen, Josh, Nikolai Lima, Armar, only KG and Harry on the mediums, but we have Shift God and Lego Lancer taking the gamble with the soft tyre at the start of this one, which may not be a bad idea with the overcast and the cloud, because as Mark was saying, as we had a bit of a contact during the formation lap, so Popito and Lego Lancer have been teleported to the starting grid for being naughty boys and making contact on formation lap, so they've been sent to the naughty corner while everybody else finishes their formation lap.
Yeah, that big disadvantage for them, especially Pepito, who is on the hard tyres. I think it'll be difficult for both of them. I mean, Lego is on the soft tyres, so that's, you'll get the heat in them pretty quickly, but of course it's definitely less than ideal. That's what you need to get any kind of heat in them. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting start to this race, I think, especially with the difference in tyres that we see here, and as we mentioned, that overcast, the conditions that we've got. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what Smoggy Ghost can do off the line, because those hard tyres, you're definitely going to be hindered without a shadow of a doubt. And I mean, I didn't exactly have another good tier 1 race once again. It's a story of my season. I don't think I've actually reached half race distance.
Connor missing his grid spot.
Yeah,
so's Brindle. So two people failing to park the cars properly.
Yeah, you find it difficult, especially you've got a big green board in front of you.
Yeah, Gunth as well. That's 3 drivers. 4 Sully's missed his grid box as well. And Josh.
Oh, come on, fellas, come on.
And Drag King at the back.
I don't think Drag King minds him.
No, 3, 4 and 5. And we're racing at Silverstone. It is hards versus mediums at the front of the grid. Smoggy Ghost looks to be on the lead, but Blurred Magic on the inside. A bit of contact through. Abby is jostling for position. More contact through Farm. But Smoggy Ghost has dropped down to...
Oh, we've got spinners. We've got
yes, we do.
Round.
Geke as well. But it's Blurred Magic that leads off down the Wellington Straight. So Red Bull from Alpine, from Williams, from Ferrari and Haas, your top 5.
Yeah, that was a bit of a carnage there at the start. There's a bit of carbon fibre when flying. I'm going to try and... Oh, there's a look. I think Shift got turned into armour in the middle of the field. That was not ideal at all. I think that's what happened with Smoggy Ghost, turned in turn 1, where Blurred Magic was more than alongside, and it really caught him out. And then there'd be a bit of a chain reaction as well further down. I think that's where Geke
a few
got
drivers
caught
running right at Cops. As we have, that's was Shift God and Owen going side by side towards Maggots, and well held by both drivers through Beckett's into Chapels. Now we've got the McLarens going side by side, as it's only King getting past Shift God. The front two,
not giving that one in though.
Yeah, the front.
There's a few drivers diving into the pit lane already.
Probably for repairs after some lap 1 contact, but Blurred Magic has just broken a second. Although Blurt has got it back in, and TGO slowly reeling that gap down to Blurt in 3rd, Smoggy Ghost 4th, 6/10 further back, but he's got his rear mirrors completely full of Pepito in the green Aston Martin. But we'll jump to Blurt, who's got DRS as he's hunting down Blurred Magic into Brooklands. he'll be wanting to stay as close as possible to the rear of the Red Bull through Luffield. And then hopefully after the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel Complex, he can line the move up with DRS down the hangar straight towards Copse. So we'll keep an eye on this front too as we head through Copse towards Maggots and Beckett's. Blurt's got to keep as close as he can through here.
Yeah, not easy to do with the dirty air. I've just looked at the pit stops, of course. The reserve drivers had to pit at the end of lap 1, which was half of the battle, but Harry, KG and Connor all had brand new front wings fitted.
As Blurt makes,
the lead.
Yeah, Blurt down the inside towards Stowe with DRS. Blurt tried to had to hold off as Blood Magic tried to have a little look again down Vale, but it is Alpine now ahead of Red Bull as we have a yellow flag at Stowe, but it's soon cleared up. Blurt with the fastest lap of 32.210. Position changes. The biggest winner, looking at it, is both Lego Lancer and Popito, both up 7 places, but Shift God up 8, so he gets the most positions gained in the opening few laps. The biggest loser, sadly, is the Mercedes of Connor, who has dropped 16 places from his starting position.
Yeah, TGO's had a new front wing as well on this lap, so quite a big gap between, I think that's, Brindle and Shift God, and then, of course, we've got
Papito and
Brindle, who's only got half a front wing as well.
Yeah.
He is going to really suffer on this lap as well.
We just had Popito and Legolancer going side by side through Luffield. The Aston Martin ahead of the Sauber with the Haas just behind.
Apologies, it wasn't Brindle, it was Legolancer's got half a front wing. Apologies.
That's going to be horrible for the Sauber driver through Maggots and Beckett's with the lack of wing, not being able to get the turning he wants.
Yeah, he's on the soft tyres as well, so that's just going to compound the issue a little bit, really, and just take away the edge that he's had. And it's going to be interesting to see Nikolai and Shift God have switched position as well under DRS, that just see what the soft tyres can do now. Because of course we know their longevity is not that great, but Legolancer has still actually continued at this moment in time. He hasn't decided to pit, so battling on at this moment for the man in 5th in the Kick Sauber. Yeah,
got a 4-second gap over his teammate Nikolai Lima as Josh Boy is pitted. But since overtaking the Red Bull of Blurred Magic, Blurt has really put his foot down. He's got a 2-second gap now as they head down the Wellington Straight, as Armar sets the fastest lap with a 30.4. But since taking the lead from Blurred Magic, Blurt has really grabbed these early stages by the scruff of the neck, as he has a 2.2 second lead over Blurred Magic, who's going to be coming.
Sorry, apologies. Josh Boy did have wing damage, but he didn't set it to change, so he's had a pit stop that hasn't changed his front wings. So, yeah, disappointment for him so far.
Yeah, so Smoggy Ghost was within a second of Blurred Magic, but then Blurred Magic managed to open up the gap. So it's quite spread out slightly amongst the top 5, and as we have Brindle and Lego Lancer, as Brindle goes round the outside heading towards Stowe. So the Haas is now back ahead of the Sauber, and the Sauber of Lego Lancer is in to get off those soft tyres, and I believe that will be a trip onto the hard tyres for the Sauber, as Shift God has now got ahead of Geke and Owen now having a bit of a scrap through club, as we have a 4-car tussle. Shift God, Owen, Geke and Gunth. McLaren versus Mercedes as the Racing Bull of Geke. Oh, there's a contact and all 3 cars have hit each other, and Gunth is quietly going to try and take advantage, but not quite. Is still at the back of the 4-car train. Geke ahead of Shift God, ahead of Owen. As gone the wrong way as Owen.
Oh, contact again with Owen and Shift God. But there's a big damage to the Mercedes as well.
Yeah,
big damage.
Gunther taking all the advantage in the world of Shift God, and Owen scrapping as he nips through for 8th place. So the Ferrari now ahead of the McLaren and the Mercedes, but as you say, there is a lot of damage on the front of that Mercedes, so Owen is going to be struggling through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel at this stage. I believe the Mercedes will dive in to get that repaired, because that'll be a handful for the Mercedes driver at this stage, with still plenty of laps left in this one, as Armar has made the move past Sully for P11 and P12. We'll jump to the battle for P2 as Smoggy Ghost is right up the back of Blurt Magic, and Popito's there as well, so we have a 3-race scrap for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, as Blurt is just absolutely romping away out front, 3.8 seconds ahead of this 3-way scrap for the 2 podium places and P4, as Smoggy Ghost goes down the inside of Brooklyn's to take that 2nd place from the Red Bull of Blurred Magic. So Smoggy goes back up into 2nd place in the Ferrari, and Pepito follows through. So Pepito up to 3rd place in the Aston Martin. Both Smoggy Ghost and Pepito on the hard tyres though, so they're probably getting a bit of a tyre advantage, as it does look like Blurred Magic is struggling on those medium tyres at this stage. We're on lap 6 of 26, and it does look like that the hard tyre runners are slowly starting to gain a slight advantage over the medium runners, as Popito not quite close enough to make a move at Stowe Corner with the DRS, so Smoggy Ghost holds on firm to 2nd place in the Ferrari. 4 seconds up the road is Blurt though in the Alpine, while these two are scrapping over the podium places, gradually dropping Blurred Magic off on those struggling medium tyres. So
yeah, but Blurt's doing quite a good job at the minute with the gap he's got, and then it's going to be a case of who can look after them. I think Blurred Magic is going to be the
as
one
Popito's made a move at the Aintree past Smoggy Ghost.
Yeah,
but Smoggy
did it late enough to get the DRS, but Smoggy Ghost isn't going to give. He wasn't quite close enough this time, but yeah, this is where Blurred Magic's going to hurt a little bit, because he's going to be in that dirty air though with the medium tyres, and it is just see how he can keep them, and if he can keep them going just a few laps longer. You probably want to be going to around lap 11 or so before you pit for the hard tyres, if you're going to try and make a one-stop strategy work around here, as he does go wide through Cops. But then you got Brindle not too far away, but that 1.6 second window, that's where the dirty air starts to kick in, so he'll start feeling that now, and we'll see if anybody ahead of those 3 drivers start battling and start fighting, because that's then going to hopefully for him bring him back into this fight so far. But yeah, currently Blurt in clean airs, definitely looking strong at this moment in time. We've got Armour's coming through the field, but of course he'll have to pit a few times, and then Shift God's still working on those soft tyres. But we've got a few people, as mentioned, that have had pit stops. That as Harry goes very, very wide through Chapel and completely missed the corner completely. But there's a few drivers still out there with wing damage as well, they didn't get a chance to change.
Harry with 3 seconds, first one of the evening.
Not too bad though, getting to lap 8, especially with some of the battles that we've seen. Shift God now does pit. He has.
Owen also with 3 seconds, so that's 2 drivers now.
Yeah, I think it's just a few times they're just pushing the boundary a little bit, as the gaps are starting to form throughout. GTS, obviously, I know he's reserved now, starts at the back of the grid, pitted lap 1, and now found himself up in 10th on the mediums, but he's, of course, got to pit a few more times and is absolutely flying at the moment. Easy overtake there on Gunth with the DRS down the Wellington Straight, but yeah, now we've got a few little battles, and it's going to be interesting to see how these develop with the difference of pit stop strategies, and those who are still carrying that little bit of front wing damage. That I think as the tyres wear, it's going to come more pronounced for them and just something else they're going to have to deal with. But Brindle's really close on Blurred Magic as we go down the hanger straight. What a move that was.
Haas on Red Bull. That's Haas ahead of the Red Bull. Brindle up to P4. Blurred Magic down to P5.
Who does pace?
He's in, so it's lap 8. So Blurred Magic looking to head for the hard tyres at this stage. So as you say, you want at least lap 10 or 11 on the mediums to at least do the one stop. So I believe Blurred Magic is just on the cusp of looking at that 2 stop and playing the safer bet. But it does look like some of those on the mediums, like Brindle, for example, seem to be a lot better on the medium tyres than Blurred Magic, because Blurred Magic seems to be dropping off quite a bit, but Brindle holding the pace quite well on the mediums. So Brindle looks to be one that's very good on his tyres, so he could be one that possibly maybe looking at the one stop round here and trying to take the mediums as long as he can. Because you don't really want to be looking at the 2 stop if you can, because it's a huge loss of time here at the pit lane in Silverstone, because it's the longest pit lane on the calendar and the slowest. So if you get a safety car come out, I expect many people to be looking at taking advantage to not lose as much time with the safety car. The gap though out front has gone down from 4 seconds to 2.4 as the race leader Blurt has dived into the pits. The Alpine is in, which has released Popito into the lead, so Popito now leads on the hard tyre, with Smoggy Ghost slightly behind in the Ferrari as we head on to lap 10.
Yeah, as you mentioned, of course, the pit lane distance there it's 36 mile an hour. Pit lane speeds around here, very tight and narrow pit lane here at Silverstone, and of course, as you say, it's about one of the longest. I think Imola is not far off, but a lot of drivers now, the medium tyre are starting to hit the pits now. So could we see a 2-stop strategy? Sully's continued on his way. He's
Brindle with 3 seconds. Well, that's going to hurt him towards the end, especially with being one of those running at the front, as Blurt comes out in P8 after his stop. So he is now on the hard tyres, down in P8. It's quite spread.
It's about a 30-second he's lost there. 30 seconds in the pit lane. So, yeah, I think it really reduces massively when it comes to safety car. And I think it's down to, I can't remember the time loss now. I heard about it at the weekend, and for life of me I can't remember. I was going to say about 8 seconds, but it's not quite. Sully took a bit too much into Brooklands, and his teammate now has come through in left field as well.
Gives his teammate plenty of space, because at the end of the day you don't want to make contact with your teammate, as the Red Bulls are getting a bit close together as they head down towards Copse Corner. But Blurred Magic leads the 2 Red Bulls as they head down towards Maggots and Beckett's. It's relatively spread out as Blurt now makes a move on Geke just before Stowe Corner, so the Alpine now up to 7th place after his pit stop, as Armar is pitted, the higher tier driver, and Nikolai Lima has also dived in as well from P6.
Well, I said the gap, he was about 27 seconds when he came out to the leader because of the pit stop, so he had about, let's call it 30 seconds. The gap now to the leader is 23, so he has really pushed on. Those fresh hard tyres are giving him so much grip. He's closed 4 seconds this lap alone onto Pepito, currently in the lead. So I think once Pepito pits, it's going to be a foregone conclusion that Blurt will retake the lead. He's got a bit of free air now to the back of GTS. So this is just about tyre management once again. If he can try to take them another 15.5 laps that he's got left, and then depends when Pepito pits, of course, then we're seeing a lot of people take the pits early as well off the mediums, which is quite surprising. They feel them go off a little bit, and then rather than sort of go through and adjust slightly to the tyre wear, deciding, no, I'm going to pit early, and that's going to leave them quite vulnerable, I think, towards the end of the race, especially when the hards start to wear as well. So I think we could see 2-stop strategies for a lot of the grid here.
Oh, Smoggy Ghost in. He's the first.
Yeah.
runner
only
on the
10
hards
laps
at the
on the
front.
hard tyres, only 10 laps. So I think that could be another 2-stop as well. If drivers feeling they just can't take the tyres that long, then it's going to open the field. I think, as you mentioned and we both mentioned, that the gap difference, you know, we're going to really struggle with the 2 stops to regain the time lost by taking that extra almost 30-second pit stop, unless we have, of course, the dreaded full yellows, which is what I'm going to call it, full yellows, the best way. But 22 seconds the gap now. That's incredible, the amount of time that Blurt's taken out.
Yeah, Blurt's just got past Gunther for P5, so that's the Red Bull gained another place since making his pit stop as well. But yeah, the gap between Blurt and Brindle is just ticked under the 13-second mark, so as you say, he's taking seconds out of both Brindle and Popito with those significantly fresher tyres at this stage, because as we know, Popito and Brindle have yet to stop, hence why they are first and second currently, with the ever-charging Alpine of Blurt to hunting them down.
Yeah, I think Brindle will try and take them an extra lap and try
Brindle's
that one
in.
stop. Okay, doesn't matter then.
He's going to be going to the hard tyre on lap 13, so he's took them quite a way, so Brindle could possibly pull the one stop off, so that'll release Blurt up into second place once he crosses the start finish line and goes past the Haas garage, and there he is up into second place. So that just leaves Popito with a 22-second gap out front. So I do believe once Popito decides to pit off those hard tyres onto a set of mediums, that we will more than likely have Blurt back leading the British Grand Prix in the Alpine.
Yeah, there's still a few battles going on through the field that I'm sort of up and down with because of when that pit stop phase. Of course, TGO pitted at the end of lap 1. He's found himself in 6th, but 10 laps on those mediums, so he's going to have to pit again. So he's going to drop back down the order as well. It's going to be interesting, I think, now just to see how long Pepito takes these hard tyres if he is going to go. Oh, Josh, you don't want to be doing that, my friend. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see who was that. That was GTS in Brooklands, just letting the other cars go through. I don't know if he had a moment somewhere, but he's just freshly pitted. So this is all going to be interesting to see who does what and when, especially with the pit stops, and who can take the tyres as long and as far as possible, suddenly going way off-road there through Copse. And his battle and his charge of Connor 2.0.
Yep, in the Mercedes, currently P8 with a 3.4 second gap to TGO in the Williams, as we have Drag King, the higher tier driver, now tier 3, going past Sully. For 9th place, the Red Bull down to 10th. Sully seems to be struggling a little bit on those tyres at this stage now, with the time he's dropping off to the cars in front. Although we do have a very good battle for 4th and 5th, Haas versus Red Bull, as Drag King gets 3 seconds. Will we possibly see Blurred Magic get close enough with the DRS down the Wellington Straight and try and stay as close as he possibly can to the back of the Haas through Brooklands, Luffield, through to Copse and down Maggots and Beckett's, because he'll be wanting to try and see if he can make anything down towards the Hangar Straight, but he's now fallen into the grasp of the higher tier driver of Armagh. So Brindle with the fresher hard tyres in front is pulling away from the Red Bull, which is now leaving the Red Bull in a slight jeopardy of the higher tiered Racing Bull. Although we do have a scrap coming up for second and third. The medium shot Smoggy Ghost against the hard shot Blurt. Ferrari versus Alpine. So we may not have Blurt leading by the time Pepito pits. He's done 15 laps now on those hard tyres. Pepito's lead currently at 21 seconds. If he carries on, it is definitely looking like a possible one-stop for Pepito with the length of time he's taking those hard tyres. But Smoggy Ghost not close enough with DRS down the Wellington Straight to make any kind of move on Blurt into Brooklands and Luffield, so he's going to be staying patient, staying on the back of the Alpine, biding his time for the second DRS zone down the Hanger Straight. So we'll keep on this second and third place battle as they gradually close the gap down between them to the race leader Pepito, down to 20.7 seconds now. So Pepito, as he's now finally pitted on lap 15 going on to 16. So Blurt and Smoggy Ghost, as we look at the gap, will take first and second. So this will become a scrap for the lead once they go through. Smoggy Ghost keeping nice and close to the back of the Alpine, but Blurt controlling Smoggy Ghost relatively well at arm's length, as Pepito will easily come out in third place, 1.6 seconds off of Smoggy Ghost when he comes out the pit lane, but he will be on the medium tyres, so once you get those fired up, expect
a lot fresher as well.
Yeah, expect Poppy.
So this could be a very, very exciting and fiery end to well, hopefully not fiery, but definitely a very exciting end to this race with 10.5 laps to go. That's it's just going to Pepito. I think they're probably looking one of the stronger ones here. It depends what Blurt can do with his tyres, if he can take them the extra laps. But Smoggy Ghost definitely got the fired up. He's going to be wanting to push on, I think, at this moment and not let Pepito get too close, as you mentioned, get those mediums fired up. He's going to want to make the move very quickly and try to use whatever grip that he's got in those 4-lap-old mediums to create some kind of gap and get that Alpine in between him and Pepito. Surely is going to be on a charge very, very soon indeed.
Well, he's almost within DRS striking distance. It's 1.2 seconds with Smoggy Ghost getting DRS off of Blurt. So Pepito is gaining time on the two in front with those brand new medium tyres, as it has now become a three-way scrap for the podium positions. Blurt, Smoggy Ghost and Pepito for Alpine, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Renault Power versus Ferrari Power versus Mercedes Power. So it is a triple threat, whichever way you look at it, for the podium positions, as Pepito patiently placing his car. He'll get DRS off of Smoggy Ghost, but Blurt, with his earlier pace, showing that he's still got good pace to keep medium runners behind, even though he's been on those hards a lot longer than the Ferrari and especially the Aston Martin, as Pepito through Luffield gets very close to the back of the Ferrari. He'll sit behind the Ferrari now, getting a toe down towards Copse. A lovely helicopter view as we go through Copse corner. You can see both cars staying within track limits. Blurt opening the taps as, we have a full safety car.
Oh wow, this throws the cat amongst the pigeons, doesn't it now, because those who have gone a little bit longer on the tyres chance to pit. But good evening to all 25 people watching, 27 of you. Please do hit the like button, especially while we're in the safety car. There's only 3 people done it. Come on, folks. I'll have to do it myself from MRC's liked our own video. So 4 people. We have had a message in there. It's just now I've reset it and I've lost the chat. From Alexander asking how to get involved. So there's certain times people are using in each tier. Well, it's difficult to say.
Smoggy Ghost.
Smoggy Ghost out. He's lost all of his way. What happened?
Smoggy Ghost has retired, and we also lost Harry whilst you were talking. So I don't know what's happened there.
Wow, I'm going to have to move rewind that back on the stream and see what's going on.
Yes,
That's
please
incredible.
do, because
Yeah,
that'll
I'm trying to have a
be.
look, see if we see it, because wow, that's crazy about what's happened there. I'm just going to try and find it because I see if we actually caught it. But yeah, Alex, yeah, just please do join. You just click the Discord link. It should hopefully work in the about section and our description to join our Discord, and we'll get you inducted, and of course then see which assist you use and your speed, and we'll assign you to a tier. Of course, always welcome. But yeah, look at that Smoggy Ghost. That is that's incredible. I'm not sure. He looked like he was coming into the pits, and I don't know if he lost it on exit, because I'm trying to look back on stream and see what.
Well, I don't know if I caught it, because I was looking down at my phone at the YouTube messages, looked up, and then there was.
I'll tell you what happened. It was just caught. I think he came into the pit very, very quickly. Yeah, he did. He didn't brake coming into the pit. Blurt actually broke and braked towards the pit entry. Smoggy Ghost didn't. It's hit the back of Blurt, who's now got 10 seconds for it.
So that explains that 10
took
seconds.
His wheel off. Yeah, that's where it's come from. So it's almost like he hit the back of Blurt. That's why he's lost his front wheel and all the front end of that car. But he didn't brake coming into the pits. So yeah, maybe, I don't know if the pit assist is on, so maybe he just went full pelt and expected the whole car to join, to stop, and as they do with that pit entry assist. So that's what I think's happened. Blurt actually doesn't use it, so he's obviously naturally hit the brakes and used the pit limiter himself, where Smoggy Ghost didn't do that, and it's hit the back of Blurt, and yeah, he's retired himself and given Blurt 10 seconds. So I'd imagine that hand will go up in the stewards, because Blurt you were actually on board with Blurt as he came into the pits, so nothing Blurt could do with that one. I'm not going to, sorry Smoggy on this one, but yeah, that was unfortunately on Smoggy Ghost for that one there, that of what happened. So yeah, I've expected it's going to be one in the stewards, that one as well. The link's invalid. Keep it on. I'll update to a new link in the Discord later on this evening and be able to put that through. So if you join us tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock for Tier 0, which I will be hosting the commentary for, please do get involved, and Alex, and look for the link. As long as you're subscribed and ring the bell, you'll get the notification that we've gone live, and there should be a new link in there as well. But actually, I don't know if you just joined, so great, hopefully it has worked for you.
Yeah, and if you get your times and stuff in before Friday, you may get the chance to join one of the practice sessions which we host now on a Friday and Sunday. So if you get yourself in and sorted before Friday, you can take part in Friday's practice session, which will be for Vegas, which is where we'll be heading for round 5 after all the races for round 4 are finished, because as Mark mentioned, there is one more race still to come tomorrow at 7 o'clock, where all the nutcases that run no assists come out to play. Yeah, so expect some of our top class drivers that can race no assists on this game, and hopefully if you're watching as well and you want to learn how to drive with no assists, if you're watching, you could learn a thing or two and see how each driver is racing, to probably pick up some hints and tips. Or if there are spaces 3, which is sometimes the case, and you feel like giving no assists a try, don't be scared to give it a go. It doesn't matter where you finish, and just see how you get on. So that'll be tomorrow night. This is still Tier 4. We're on lap 19 behind the safety car. Pepito leads, going on to lap 20.
I said he was looking strong. I don't think he expected to be there, but he didn't pit. Obviously, he just come out on the fresher tyres, so he probably thought there's no point. Blur's got 20 seconds of penalties. I don't know if he got hit over the line and got 10 seconds for speeding as well. I think that's probably what happened. So I'm sure both those will get looked at in the stewarding, because I do think he was slow and it did get hit forward. So I dare say that's not Blurt's fault this time. Sorry again, Smoggy, but yeah, we've got TGO's left the chat. That's KG and Armour just going very slowly off circuit to let everybody past, which is fair play to them. GTS is also doing the same thing. It's probably not the most ideal way of doing it, but I think they've pitted anyway under safety car, which they are. No, they haven't actually. They might have done, but yeah, they've had a few stop seats, so they've had to pit and let the rest of the field go through.
Yeah, luckily there's no like 10-second penalties for ignoring yellow flags while the higher tier drivers were letting them through, but as long as they're completely off track as much as they can, so it classifies the drive. It is a bit of a dangerous way to do it because it's risking the other drivers getting 10 seconds, but you got to respect the sportsmanship because I had a few in tier 2 doing it as well for under the safety car during tier 2. Luckily they were completely way off track, which allowed me and a few others to luckily not fall foul of a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. But here we go, Popito on the restart. Does not do a Oscar Piastri and slam on at 70 psi. He has carefully brought the car down to a slower pace to control this restart. I know that's a bit of a dig at Oscar Piastri, but I like him. So, yeah, I wish I didn't have done that now. So, Popito will take the start for this one. Medium tyres on the Aston Martin as he gets us underway. We go on to lap 21 of 26. So, it's closing laps now. It's pretty much a 6-lap sprint now here at the British Grand Prix after that safety car intuition. So the gaps are completely reset. Popito getting the hammer down early. He's already broken 1 second from Brindle, who has a penalty to his name, as so does Blurt. But as Mark was saying earlier, he'll more than likely put his hand up to have those looked at to be removed, because I do believe and agree with Mark that it wasn't Blurt's fault, which I also will apologise to Smoggy on that one. So he has plenty of apologies from both commentators. But yeah, Popito will want to try and keep the gap over a second.
Yeah, Smoggy did just say his foot slipped off the brake pedal, so it was a genuine mistake from Smoggy on that one. I think he knows that. It doesn't sound like he's upset. He's probably more upset himself that he's done it. So
yeah, well, not more upset, probably gutted on himself, disappointed with himself, or like that. As we got Connor now looking to put the pressure on Blurred Magic. Mercedes versus Red Bull. History is about to continue itself with the Austrian and German outfits battling it out for race position, as Connor in the Mercedes gradually creeps up to the back of Blurred's Red Bull, as we have Blurt and Brindle going tooth and nail just ahead of them. So we will have a 4-car scrap down the Wellington Straight. Alpine, Haas, Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah, Popito's checking out in front, which, you know, is desperate for him to do, but Blur's got the fresher tyres. Blurred Magic obviously causing this with Connor as well. We saw a lot of fighting early in the race, so I think now with the next couple of laps, where the tyre differences, Brindle probably the one at the biggest disadvantage. He didn't pit.
Oh, a bit wide there for Blurred Magic, going a bit wide at Cops. Yeah, possible warning.
Park there. He ends up down in Donington, I think. He was that far wide.
If he did that, he'd be coming down. Ooh, as he gets a bit close to Owen when he goes off at Chapel as well. So, sorry, Connor, as Connor moves through Mercedes past the Red Bull. And now Connor will be looking to attack Brindle to get onto that podium place. And whilst the respected cars have been scrapping, it has allowed Popito to break away and open a gap of 3.6 seconds It is lap 23 of 26. We are coming down to the very latter stages here of Tier 4. And as we know, we're racing even at this stage in the race. Anything can happen, so please do not look away for the time being, because all things a matter can happen, and it can turn things on its head, as we just say. Connor with 3 seconds, as I was just saying about things turning on its head.
Yeah, commentator's car's kicking in there a little bit. We're getting good at this. But that's an Magic up to be, well, second on road. It could still be a podium. Again, we'll see what the stewards say about Blurt. We won't know that till probably the weekend. But by the time stewards get round to looking at everything. But I know Simon runs a tight ship there, as long as he's got the stewards there with him.
Yeah.
I know there's one or two a bit... I'm going to call it out because I do that nowadays. But there's one or two a bit negative and don't take a Blurred Magic, then joins it, so that's thrown that one into the fireworks, hasn't it? I didn't even finish my sentence. As Brindle's going left, right, come on mate, one change of direction is all he can do. And then decide which way he's going to go, but that didn't stop Connor getting through. But yeah, as long as Simon's got the right stewards with him, I think things do get pushed in pretty quick.
Yeah, so that's actually neutralised the battle for the podium places. Although Brindle is a little bit on the back foot with the worse tyres than the Mercedes and Red Bull, as the Red Bull of Blurred Magic near enough pushing the Haas of Brindle through Club Corner, as Armar sets the fastest lap of a 29.4. The higher tier driver sat in 7th place, but I do believe, knowing Armar, he will do something towards the end of this one to allow those cars behind him to overtake him and gain the position in the meantime. But we'll keep an eye on this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Connor, Brindle and Blurred Magic. Owen about nearly 3.2 seconds behind these three. As we're on lap 24 or 26, it's looking very, very good for Pepito out front. So it's looking to be Aston Martin looking to be winning on home soil, which I'd love to see in real life, and hopefully we get that in 2026.
Yeah, but it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, will it be a certain Spanish man? Will it be an Englishman?
Or possible Dutchman, because you still got that name in the hat as well.
Yeah, I think the Dutchman may just stay put, unless the deal's done.
Well, anything can happen, especially
after today's, this morning, yes.
Yeah, after this morning's news of a 20-year-long run finally ended, as we're on the penultimate lap, 25 or 26, as near enough every F1 fan's notifications and phones would be going absolutely haywire this morning / afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in, as we found out the news that after 20 years of service, Christian Horner has finally been axed with immediate effect. Which, do you think it's a good move by Red Bull? Do you think it's a bad move by Red Bull whilst we're in these closing stages of this race?
I think it's one that's been forced. I think it's one that's been pushed, that's been in the pipeline for a while. I think it's one it's been on the cards. I think it's taken them a little while. I think after the scandals that's happened, and what some people are calling Team Verstappen now, it's no secret that the Verstappens don't get on with Christian Horner anymore. That I think it's something they had to do for business. It's no secret that Red Bull have lost a lot of their top personnel from their pit crews to, of course, Jonathan Wheatley and Adrian Newey over the last year or so. That it's almost like the coherent, that tight-knit nature that Red Bull were known for and have become synonymous with over the years of their title-winning seasons, that it's just not there now. And I think something from the higher-ups was needed to be done. And it's quite strange because it's taken a while, but I do believe that Horner, with his shares in Red Bull, had more of a controlling stake, and that's why he sort of stayed as long as he did. And I think he had support from, I'm going to get the names wrong here, but there's Helmut Marko as the other controlling stake, and I think the rest of the company in Zurich, I'm going to say. I could be wrong. But it was it the Thai owners? I think it was the Thai owners. I think were the other third sort of controlling stake, and it was 2 against 1, and Horner was staying at the moment, and that's why they couldn't get rid, if that makes sense. And it's come to a head that he has now left, but I think it's a little bit too late. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future for
yeah, because I remember as Pepito's heading through Maggots and Beckett's into Chapel on this last lap. We've been following the Aston Martin while Mark has been giving us his opinion on the matter with
Alex
Christian
is right
Horner.
That he is actually still employed. So yes, you're right. He's just not on the roll anymore. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see where that takes him.
So Pepito through Vale towards Club as he comes round the final 2 corners, and it will be win for Pepito and Aston Martin here at Silverstone for Tier 4. Pepito wins. Blurt will come second, but his 10 seconds will carry on as Connor jumps to P2. Brindle takes 3rd place at this moment in time. Connor with 10 seconds as well. Geke will be coming in P8 because he's just outside the 10 seconds. Oh no, he isn't. He goes up to P6 as TGO drops it before the finish line. So Lego Lancer gets P9, TGO gets P10, Shift God at P11. Gunther Nikolai Lima having a bit of a moment as Gunther's got a 20-second penalty for
cutting and getting in place.
So that'll probably be looked at. It was a final corner situation with Gunther Nikolai Lima there, as we just wait for, I believe, Armar Red to cross the line. And just want to quickly say thank you to Armar Red for hosting Tier 4 in Connor's absence. So big shout to Armar for being the one to organise and run this lobby tonight. So thank you, Armar, on that one. So there's Pepito, top step at Silverstone. British Racing Green as well on the top step. You just love to see it.
Don't you just?
So we'll run down the order once we get... But this is provisional buy-in stewards, so... I mean, the stewards have already been busy quite a lot this week. We've recently had the Tier 1 outcomes posted. But yeah, we'll head to the provisional order for Tier 4. But in the meantime, race winner was Pepito, fastest lap Armar Red. Driver of the day in-game has been given to It's Only KG and Geke with the most overtakes and cleanest drivers. A fair play to Geke. But here is the provisional order. Pepito, then Connor, then Brindle, then Blurred Magic, then It's Only King, then Geke, then Blur, Owen, Lego Lancer, TGO, rounds off the top 10. Then it's Shift God, Nikolai Lima, Drag King, Armar Red, Gunth, Josh Boy, and the non-finishers of Smoggy Ghost, Harry, and Sully. So it was quiet to begin with. Then we had that bit of a moment with safety car. We had that damp start to qualifying, which put the cat amongst the pigeons at the start, but it soon dried out. And after the dust had settled, it's Pepito that takes the maximum 25 points here at the home of Formula One and British racing in general. So congrats to Pepito, but those results are provisional. But I believe there will be some things the stewards will be looking at. So your job's not quite done yet on that one, boys.
Yeah, so much more night for the Tier 0 boys. Have you mentioned, as of course, to come as well? So yeah, job's not done and the week's not over yet, folks. As well, more Silverstone racing to come.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, Mark, you'll be taking that one, so you'll be hearing the Dorset tones of the captain of the commentary team for at least another race. So yeah. ain't you lot lucky?
Yeah, 3 this week again, but hey ho, here's what it is.
But yeah,
but no, thanks for having me again, Carl. I know I was a bit late, but yeah, couldn't leave you on your own, my friend. So yeah, it's been a pleasure joining you once again, as always.
But yeah, if you've been watching tonight, I think we hit about 24 viewers at one point.
I saw 30 odd, yeah.
Oh,
so don't forget, if you're still
about
watching,
30. So yeah,
thumbs up, yeah.
Hopefully we got plenty of hopefully we got plenty of likes for that one. So yeah, that's tier 4 wrapped up with. That is also Wednesday wrapped up and done. The show is over for another day, but as me and Marcus said a few times already, tier 0 will be racing tomorrow at 7 o'clock. No assists, absolutely everything shut off for one final time at Silverstone. And then for round 5 it'll be Vegas with the first practice session, so people will be checking in for that when that comes up. So thank you, Mark. Better late than never, but it's great to have a person on comms alongside me. It makes
I've got to make
things a lot easier.
Somehow,
yeah. Always fashionably late.
That's it, exactly, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you everybody who tuned in for tier 4, and to those that have liked, if people have watched this back as well, make sure you like and even share it to friends if needs be. Try and get them involved. So yeah,
absolutely, 100%, yeah. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, so that is it. We'll see you again tomorrow for tier 0. Good night.
Good night.